one corner coming in at 0.87 pounds, we've got the Sony A6100.
Autofocus so fast you don't even know!
And in the other corner coming in at 0.85 pounds, the Canon M50.
I can flip my screen!
Who's gonna win? Let's fight!
I'm gonna kick your butt! I'm gonna kick your butt!
So I use the Sony A6100, this is my main shot, but it's not the only camera out there. So we're gonna look at these two cameras fairly and unbiasedly, because that's a word, and we're gonna break down not all of the technical mumbo jumbo that you don't even care about. We're going to look at what really truly matters, and that's what matters for a live streamer in these two cameras. Now, for a live streamer, the most important feature for a camera is clean HDMI, meaning that you don't see all of the menu items going out from your camera onto your stream, because viewers don't want to see that. And luckily, both of these cameras, the Sony A6100 and the Canon M50, both have clean HDMI. But the Canon M50 Mark I did not have clean HDMI. So if you're looking at buying a new M50, make sure it's the Mark II. Personally, I prefer 1080p 60 frames per second because it gives you that crisp, clean look and that makes viewers go, whoa. So if you decide that you want the same look, then you can find those settings right here on the Sony A6100. And you can find those same settings right here on the Canon M50 Mark II. Now you might be asking, what about 4K? Well, yes, both of these cameras do have that capability, and it's great to have that option for future proofing, for recorded videos, but I don't really recommend 4K for live streaming. And if you want to learn more about why, we have a video all about it. So those are the basics, but let's look at the picture itself. Now, both of these cameras actually have what's called an APS-C sensor. Now that refers to the size of the sensor inside the camera. And in fact, the Sony A6100 sensor is about 10% bigger than the M50's. Does that make a difference? Well, see for yourself. I have these cameras set up in almost the same exact position so that you can get a real feel for the differences. Both of these cameras are using the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. Now keep in mind, there's no post-processing, no LUTs, and all of the settings are the same, from aperture to ISO to shutter speed to white balance. Now keep in mind that the M50 is in almost the same exact position as the Sony, yet because the M50 has a smaller sensor size, you're gonna notice that it's actually cropped in a little bit more. Now let's talk about color for a minute. You'll notice that with the M50, you see a lot more contrast, deeper colors. You see the red in the brick, you see the green in the plants. But you'll also notice you see more pores than in the 6100. And so this is really a personal preference. I love the color of the M50. I don't necessarily love the extra pores, but it is a personal preference. So which one do you like? So here's the image with my current lighting setup. And here it is with just natural window light. When it comes to the overall picture, the winner of this round is the Sony A6100. Now, keep in mind, these are my opinions, my choices, but you get to make your own personal choice based on what you're seeing. So never forget that. And I also want to hear what your choices are in the comments. Are you getting something out of this video? Well, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications, because you don't want to miss an upcoming video all about which lens to choose for the camera that you choose. One of the key features for a live streamer with any camera is autofocus. It can be vitally important. So both cameras have facial recognition, but the Sony A6100 has more focal points, and this is how the two play out against each other. Well, as you can see, the Sony A6100 definitely is a faster autofocus, so the winner of this round goes to Sony. If you want to learn all of the nuances about live streaming tech, like why capture cards matter, we cover all of that in our Create Your Dream Video Studio workshop, so check that out, link is in the description. Now, while I don't appreciate when anybody talks about my physical appearance, I do think it's important to talk about the physical appearance of these two cameras. There are a couple of physical differences between these two cameras that I think you might find important. The Canon M50 has a fully articulating screen, so you can swing it around and see yourself if you're shooting vlog style out and about, or if you don't have a confidence monitor in your studio. The Sony A6100 has a tilt-up screen, so you can still see the image and what you're working with if you don't have a confidence monitor. It's just a little less flexible. Now, the Sony A6100 is a little heavier than the Canon M50 Mark II, but only 9 grams heavier, and that's the equivalent of 9 raisins. Now, the Canon M50's body is about 1 inch taller than the Sony A6100. It may not matter to you in the least if you're in a studio setting, but if you want something that's portable, you want it to fit in your bag, that might actually make a difference for you. So in the physical characteristics department, the winner is a tie. Now, you know I recommend typically using a capture card to plug your camera into your computer to get the highest quality signal. But what if you do not have a capture card? Can you plug these cameras into the computer and still get a signal natively? Why, yes, you can. Both of these cameras have a software that you can download to allow your computer to see your camera as a webcam. Sony's software is called Sony Imaging Edge, and Canon's is called EOS Webcam Utility. Now, keep in mind, if you're using a software like Ecamm Live, like I do, you don't need this additional software from the manufacturer. Ecamm Live will actually just see it natively when you plug it in via USB. Although you do actually lose a little bit of quality by going directly through USB versus a capture card. Now, the Sony requires some menu setting changes on your camera in order for Ecamm Live to see it as a USB source. Based on how easy it is to connect your camera to your computer, the winner of this round goes to the Canon M50. Let's talk about where it hits your wallet, the cost of the cameras. At the time of this recording, the Sony A6100 body only is $748. The Canon M50 Mark II body only is only $599. With a 16mm lens added to that, then your cost is $1147. So we're looking at a difference of $149. It's not a huge difference, but it ain't nothing. So the pricing round goes to the Canon M50.
Well, the Abby counts are in. Let's see the tally. For the Sony A6100, here's the Abby count. And the Abby count for the Canon M50. Well, folks, appears we actually have a tie. The Sony A6100 and the Canon M50 are perfectly great live streaming cameras. So it goes to you for the tiebreaker. Leave a comment and tell me, which one do you think wins this fight?
Well, those are my picks. What are your picks? Leave a comment and let me know which choice you've made. Remember, if you have questions, then join a live Q&A. And if you want to learn more about lenses and choosing the right lens for you, definitely check this video out, and I'll see you there.